Hello, not sure if I'm live just yet, but I am refreshing things, and I am. Okay, good. I wanted to go live and talk about this tornado warning for Sabine Parish. This is going to be over the South Toledo Bend area, and I'll get you in a little closer here in just a second. Turning sound down here, make sure everything's good. That one kind of caught me a little bit by surprise, not going to lie. So, okay, here we are. Power blinking in Gardner already. It's just barely raining there. Okay, we had the outflow come through. Maybe that was it. So outflow sinking south here. Big storms out in Texas, moving into Louisiana now. And this cell right here starting to show a pretty decent hook as it heads into Sabine Parish. Let's go over and take a look at the velocity mode. Actually, I'm going to go storm relative, probably show us a little better look here. And that's low. I mean, we've got the radar site right here. So we're seeing rotation in this cell. Let me look. At 2,200 feet aloft. Pretty solid rotation now, working in toward Toro and then eventually heading down toward Clare and Hornbeck. This is going to continue on toward the east-northeast over the next little bit. And let me take a look and see what we have on. So it expires at 9:15. And this cell right now, let's see. I'm going to pull up the debris just in case. Got to check that out always. Don't want to get caught here. No, not seeing anything on that, so that's good. Right now, I'm going to just read you the text of the warning. This is a radar-indicated tornado. This is a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado 8 miles northwest of Toledo Bend Dam, moving east at 40 miles per hour. So yes, this tornado warning is in effect for southern Sabine Parish. This is so far looking like it's going to stay just north of Vernon Parish, but let's go back to a mode that's more, that's going to stay north. But areas like Toro, Esto, Florine, eventually maybe Hornbeck. Let's put this in motion here, and I'm going to go with the last hour. Yeah, this cell has been pretty robust here, and we're seeing more developing out to the southwest. And this was kind of the worry here, that we would see this outflow sink to the south, and you can see the edge of that rain. That's right where that outflow is sinking. So part of me is a little surprised this one got enough spin to create this tornado warning here, because this is north of the outflow. But anything to the southwest here, we're going to have to watch these as these storms so slowly edge toward the east. This could change things a little bit for later on tonight into the early morning, but for now, let's just focus on the situation at hand. I knew it was going to be a pretty complex go of things through the evening and into tomorrow. So right now, the main show is, I can explain things later, but that is a hook echo. That is a storm with some pretty solid rotation that is now heading into southwestern Sabine Parish that has prompted a tornado warning that includes Toro, Esto, Florine. Let's see. Yeah. Gandy. Does not include Hornbeck officially, but you're going to want to keep an eye on this, especially if you're on the north side. I'm going to pause it once again, and we are going to take a look at a different radar. I'm going to show you higher up in this thing. And yeah, there is clear rotation there. You see a lot of times we'll see these warnings. It's like, well, I don't really see anything there. Now, this is higher up in the storm. This is 6,000 feet, but this shows me a very stout mesocyclone. I mean, I'll draw it for you. It's easy to see, though. We've got the inflow coming in. Then you've got this spinning around here. You see the inbound, outbound winds right there, or I guess inbound and outbound winds right there, because we're looking at the Lake Charles radar. But it is circulating here as this heads across Toledo Bend, and it's going to continue on toward the east or east-northeast. But this right now is our only tornado warning. I definitely see why they issued it, and I'm going to go and, I'm going to leave that. I'm actually going to look at different scans. This is the Fort Johnson radar, shows the similar thing down at 2,000 feet, and this is the Shreveport radar at about 5,500 feet. So yeah, we've got a pretty nice sustained bit of rotation here as this storm continues on to the east. I am not seeing, at least as of these last few scans, I'm checking the debris tracker. Well, now that might be something. This might be on the ground. I'm going to wait for this. I'm going to actually clear this off. We are going to go back a few minutes, and I'm going to just see how this looks. Yeah, that might be on the ground near Toro. So if you are in the vicinity of Toro, let's go ahead and not call this confirmed, but let's just say that you want to go ahead and be in your safe space right now. I think that right there could be a tornado that might be confirmed here. I'm actually going to check in the NWS chat and see what they're saying. Yeah, this definitely did catch me a little bit by surprise. I thought we were going to have a little bit slower ramp up, but things are definitely going off quickly this evening. But this is, kind of what we had planned here. So they've extended the tornado watch. They're not saying anything about going confirmed yet, but I have that right here. Let me see. I'm going to check another radar. I'm going to go to Lake Charles. I don't see it lining up there, but that doesn't really mean much. So the Fort Johnson radar showing the potential here, that CC drop, that correlation coefficient, that shows me there's stuff of different sizes up in the atmosphere that's flying around. So we're seeing a lowering. Now you see it out here and everything. That's different stuff. That might be bugs. That could be leaves. That could be just things the radar's picking up on. But this out here being that it is correlated with this rotation, that means we could actually see a tornado down with this one. So if you're in this tornado warning, you want to take it seriously. Now, I'm not saying for sure this is on the ground, but if I'm going to watch one more. Okay, so another little update comes in there, and to see it sustained over a couple of updates shows me this probably. And here's the thing. Notice how we start to get this little drop here as it comes over the lake. You're probably not going to see much coming over the lake because it's water, but you're going to, rain, that's going to look the same in this kind of situation. But as this thing came over the water and then got over land, it looks to me like that's probably going to be a tornado near Toro. This is, if you need roads, let's go in a little bit closer and show you what we have here. Ferguson Road, Rattan Road. What highway is that? Why are you not showing me that? No, let's see. Let me pull this off. Okay. So Vines Road, Schaefer Loop, Lucius Lane, that area, that's where this tornado, if you are in the community of Toro, this is where your most likely area is going to be. So if this looks familiar to you, you have a camp on South Toledo Bend. Let me see what these areas are here. Cutoff Road, Jolly Rogers Drive, Captain Kidd, Caribbean. I'm not going to try to pronounce some of these. Lafitte Square, I can do that. But if you have a place out that way, it looks to me at least like this might have touched down. We also have a new severe thunderstorm warning out ahead of this, but right now our main focus is going to be southwestern Sabine Parish. That's where it looks like we have at least the potential of a tornado on the ground. And I'll put this in motion here. And we're looking down at the southern part of the warning, right about here where the cursor is, and you can see it looks like over the last scan that might have popped back up. No, we're still seeing that. It could be moving a little northeast. So, well, that looks a little wonky now. It looks like that it might have lifted up. Let's take a look at storm relative velocity, see what we have there. Let me look down at the Lake Charles site. I mean, the rotation's there throughout the storm for sure. It looks like it might have touched down. It's something to at least keep an eye on. But now it looks like the worst of that storm is going to be shifting a little further north. So, let's see. Not seeing any sort of confirmed tornado reports just yet, but someone at NWS Shreveport is typing, so we will see what they have to say. Shear rate, let me go ahead and take a look. Yeah, so the shear swath, that kind of lines up where we had this little pulse up in wind shear there. That lines up with what I was seeing there on the correlation coefficient that shows us the debris. I'm going to go back to the fort. There we go. All right, so southern Sabine Parish, if you are anywhere between Florine and Toro over toward Hornbeck, I know that's Vernon, but if you're just, a mile up 171, you're in this tornado warning. Esto, Des, Clare, that area is under this tornado warning. Now, beyond this, I'm going to expand it out because I'm not seeing them going confirmed with this tornado just yet. Let's take it back to the regular looking radar. So tornado warning down here. Loads of other activity down to the southwest of that. And I think this line's going to kind of elongate out, and we're going to see some training storms as this interacts with this outflow boundary that has dropped into central Rapides, Vernon, and northern Avoyelles Parish. There is a new severe thunderstorm warning. This goes into other areas of Sabine Parish and also clips a little bit of Natchitoches Parish. So Zwally, Manny, Fisher, Florine, you're all in the severe thunderstorm warning. That tornado threat is a little bit more down to the south. So let's see. I'm looking to see what we have going on. Hate when these storms come at night. Yes, indeed. You know, Mom, I'm not chasing. All right, keeping an eye on the reports. You know, I don't see any actual confirmation of this yet, but I will most certainly be watching for that. Let's take a look over at the velocity data again. This is out of the Fort Johnson radar, so this is low to the ground. We are looking. Nope, you're going to have to back away there, sweetheart. Yeah, cats don't cooperate. It's okay though. It's part of the game. 1,800 feet up, seeing that rotation. Let me look. Let's see. Concerning the tornado warning in effect in Sabine Parish, rotation is broadening and the storm is becoming more outflow dominant. This tornado warning will be allowed to expire. The severe thunderstorm warning will carry a tornado possible tag. So it'll be interesting to see what we end up getting out of this. But they're going to allow that to expire. That goes at 9:15. They may cancel that a little early. So that's good, though. That means they're not seeing anything that is imminently on the ground. I'm just going to step back again and take a look. I would really think that was something that touched down there, though, near Toro. I'll be interested to hear any sort of damage reports again. If you know anyone out in this area here, Caribbean, Jolly Rogers, Captain Kidd Drive, these are very noticeable names, folks. That's where it looks like some sort of debris signature came across. Doesn't mean it for sure touched down. Could have been very weak. So that's obviously the hope. And just to put it in motion again, this is where we're watching down here. That thing kind of jumps up to the northeast. And that's where, you know, while we have all these new fancy tools and everything, I'm telling you, it's never as good as having eyes on the grounds or on the ground or cameras in the sky looking out and seeing this stuff. As I said, looking at the bigger picture, since it looks like right now, at least, this is becoming more outflow dominant. That's going to cut away at the tornado threat because, again, it is north of the outflow. And outflow dominant means instead of sucking air in, it's pushing air out. So that is going to, if it's not ingesting air, that unstable air, and aiding in that rotation of the storm, if it's outflow dominant, it's probably going to weaken pretty soon unless we have a different kind of setup. But in this case, I would imagine this storm is going to become elevated. It's going to reduce the tornado threat, but we will have to watch anything near or south of this outflow that is right. Let me just pause this and draw it. All right, so like right here, just at the edge of that's your outflow. So this is kind of slowed down. If I put it in motion, you can see over the last, hour? Yeah, I've got the last hour there. It's moved maybe 5-7 miles. So 5 to 7 miles per hour looks like it's really slowing down. So what I think we're going to see is cells like this that are going to come up. That outflow is going to provide a little bit of a boost. So this line right here provides a little bit of a boost in the lift that this storm or this cell experiences. And that is going to probably cause more, some intensification. So looking at the lightning data, seeing if we have it. Yeah, we got a few strikes coming out of this one right now. I'll be watching this one as it crosses the boundary and heads up toward Alexandria. But what we'll see is these kind of cells feeding in, these moving to the east along the outflow, and then again, like I said, it could kind of elongate along that outflow. The latest HRRR model, my goodness, it showed a absolute bomb of rain across the area. I'm not even going to get into the maximum totals it was showing because it's unlikely, but I do think somewhere, let me just draw a new deal here. Cross that out. Somewhere in roughly this zone right through the heart of central Louisiana, I think some rain gauge totals up over 10 inches of rain out of this whole storm system. So flooding is going to be a big concern. Obviously, severe weather is a concern, and Tom and I are going to be watching things through the night as this severe weather continues to develop out west and move toward our area. I will take this off. I'm going to go in and take a look at the storm relative velocity once again. And yeah, there is still definitely rotation a couple thousand feet off the ground, but like they were saying out of Shreveport, this is pretty broad. So if it's broad rotation, we can handle that. Not seeing anything really tightened up there. Let me just check the other radars for any sort of cooperation on that little debris signature I think we might have seen. Not seeing it there. Going back through this. I'll scoot a little over. I'm trying to keep a cat out of the way. Yeah, I don't see anything glaring right there. So I will go back to this radar, take the lightning off because that can get real busy. But that's a tornado warning that is going to be allowed to expire unless we see something change by about 9:15. So severe thunderstorm warning remains. That is in effect until 9:45 p.m. Elsewhere, we have showers along the outflow, some steady rain. I've only had 0.11 inches, but it only started like an hour ago. And then we have this down here to the south that I'll watch and see how that kind of interacts with this outflow. And then these, I'm going to put it in motion once again. I'm going to take the warnings off for just a second. There we go. Okay, so warnings and watches are off. So this line right here has been moving relatively over the same areas of eastern Texas. So that includes Sabine County, Texas, Jasper County, Texas, and then down into, I believe that's Hardin County. And I don't know, I kind of get out of my depth there. So these have been moving across the same locations, and we're seeing some really heavy rainfall. And just for the sake of, we're live here, and we've got 833 of you here, so I might as well show you some stuff. The last 3 hours of rain. So this is just to give you an idea of how hard it's raining in some of these spots. 3 hours, 2.4 inches, 3.3. That's going to cause some flooding. Yeah, I mean, 2 to 3, 4 inches of rain in 3 hours, and a lot of that's probably fallen in the last 2. So I expect flood warnings to go up in these locations where we haven't already seen them. And then let's take a look at this in motion, because that'll kind of give us an idea if this line is pivoting at all to the east. And you can see there is a slow expansion to the east. So as that happens, and this kind of, I'm really looking for this to, what I'm saying when it elongates, let me pause this and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I know that can be a little weird. So right now it's like that. Okay, so we see the general orientation of things. What I'm wondering here, what I'm thinking, and what I'm seeing on a lot of these models is this could elongate across the area like this. Now, not exactly maybe in that fashion, right across Alexandria or something, but where this happens, I'm getting multiple indications from models of several inches of rain falling in a few hours. So we have that threat that's going to be tonight, and then we get into tomorrow morning after 3 a.m. Big squall line comes out of Texas, and that's going to be kind of the finishing blow of things. Probably moves through our area between about 6 and 9 a.m., maybe a little later off to the east. But that's going to, again, bring another couple of inches of rain in short order with some heavy rain behind it. So it all depends, like our flooding threat really depends on what we see out of these storms. If this thing kind of feeds along this outflow boundary and we see this all kind of link up and we see storms moving across the area toward the east-northeast, and then that squall line comes out, we're going to have some flooding problems. And that's what I'm going to be watching for the night. I'll pop up the watches and warnings once again. Looks like we have another severe thunderstorm warning, so that's going to be north of us, I think. Yeah, that's for Bienville, Bossier, Caddo, DeSoto, Red River, and Webster Parish. So I'll wait the 1 minute until this hopefully goes away. Let's take one more look at the storm relative velocity. I mean, there's still some spin in there, but the hope is that we are north of that boundary, so this storm's going to be a little more elevated. If you have a storm that's, say you've got a very unstable layer above a stable layer, then that tornado is going to have trouble, that rotation is going to have trouble making it to the ground with a stable air mass, in the lowest, maybe 1,500 feet. And yeah, that looks like it's still just kind of gusting out there. Could be some strong winds. Still a severe thunderstorm warning until 9:45 p.m. And it looks pretty nasty. I'm going to look at it at another. I like to look at this. I have several different kinds of radar that I like to look at. If you're in Florine right now, looks like the tornado warning has been allowed to expire. Just, let's go ahead and be safe, because there is a lot of low-level wind shear with this. Looks like I actually had a hail report on MPing. Pea-sized hail out there in western Avoyelles on 107. Okay, so between Marksville and DeVille, kind of. That's where that was. But yeah, watching that storm to our south here, this one, as it crosses that outflow, is probably going to juice up a little bit, and then these storms out to the west. But I'm going to get out of here for now, save the voice for later, because I'm going to be on a lot tonight. But I'll be here. I'll have the coffee rolling. We're going to get through this, and I'm going to keep you as updated as I am. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Have a wonderful evening. I'm sure I'll see you soon.